Want to expand in here a little bit. I got a cage. I got a cage, and I got a cage. We got a cage for the promotion. We all want to be able to start. I want to get the cage in here.
Nice,
So
yeah.
that's my missing link here right now. I'm trying to get in the trying to talk to the owners and let me have another 1,000 square feet or so. So we're trying to work that out right now.
Yeah, so
But
we are talking today to Cody, and I hate saying your nickname, especially during this month, but the Wolverine
I,
Stevens, and he's inside of the Wolverine MMA HQ up there in Mansfield, Ohio. And Cody, this weekend, a big event. I've been around, and we both have been around for a long time, and it just feels right having an MMA event in Mansfield, right? Like you got BCM Fight Night 11. I feel like you're from Mansfield. You're kind of the main guy up there, but BCM continuing to run events, and events have been run in Mansfield for as long as I can remember.
no, I know that's like we when RFO and Matt and Melissa Truckovich decided to step away, it left a big gap. It left a big gap, definitely here in Mansfield, and I think Ohio MMA felt it as well, because it was a big hub for a decade plus. And so when Bob Marshall talked to me about it, about kind of joining forces with him, it was like a no-brainer to me. It was like literally a few months after eye um, my eye accident with the fight,
Yeah.
and so it was like because I was like, what am I like? It was like I knew I was going to eventually have to start fighting, stop being able to fight professionally at some point, but it happened a little quicker than I thought. So I was kind of left me in limbo, and it was just I felt it was just like God, higher power, put it in my path, and I'm just thankful that it presented itself and gave me an opportunity to still stay in the fight game along with the gym and still be able to continue to keep building Ohio MMA and especially Ohio Mansfield MMA.
Yeah. So, what was that transition like from going, being that fighter and being that guy that, you were pretty much every fight I saw, you were always the main event and the main guy and carrying cards to now you're the guy kind of on the promotion side where you're really trying to find guys and trying to, start to build guys up. But then also there's so much more involved in the promotion side as well, other than obviously just the fights. But what's your involvement in that and kind of how was that
Uh,
transition?
um, the transition. We'll start with the transition. The transition was it was tough. It was really hard for me. I know I think Uriah Faber or not Uriah Faber, but Uriah Hall recently talked about that. Just how he was struggling with depression and how he was just really struggling mentally. Um, it, it's when a lot of us been identified so long as professional fighters and everyone just looks at it. It's not like they just look at us like a fighter, but it's kind of what we're known for, like what we've been doing, what we sacrificed, however long we've been in this game for. And so it's a difficult transition for anyone. I mean, I think that's kind of goes the same thing with anyone just retires after they worked at a job for 30 or 40 years or whatever their occupation might have been. It's hard, it's like a lot of people don't even want to retire. They just want to keep doing that because that's just what they're known as, and they feel like they don't really have much of a purpose. Sometimes people don't, but I always knew I had another purpose, and my other purpose was to be able to provide uh, martial arts and be able to spread martial arts to the community that I grew up in and here in Mansfield. And I also I work up at Strong Style and help coach the fighters up there as well. So I never had another, like, I never wanted to do anything else. And I never had like a plan B as far as, okay, I'm done fighting. I'm going to be, uh, I can go back to, I don't know, if some people can be a lawyer. I don't know, whatever someone might have had an occupation before. I guess I could have went back to the well fields where I worked before that, but that was never an option. So like I'm the, I got off task a little bit there. Sorry. But like, so I just knew that I never wanted to do anything else. But once I was done, it was always about coming back and giving back to mixed martial arts, to my community, and just reach as many people and help as many people as I can, because I say I help as many people as I can, but in return, that helps me.
Yeah.
It helps because it gives me like feel like I still have purpose in life.
Yeah. So how much of the promoting side? I know
Oh,
you're
okay.
part of the management team, but how much
Hmm.
of that are you kind of involved in? I know that there's a lot of matchmaking. There's cleaning blood up in the cage. There's everything.
Yeah, I
How
mean, we
much?
got. I mean, t- I we work as a team together at BCM. We have a lot. We have everyone plays their position. That's the key. You know what I mean? That's the key. A lot. Everyone is playing their position and not using but utilizing everyone where they fit best. Tim Fairbanks has been doing a real great job matchmaking for us. He's really stepped up. Um, and he's passionate about that. That's the thing about BCM, our team. Like I don't like we had other photographers and other people that have done things like I don't want people just to be there, just like want to come there, get their check, and run out the door, whatever their title might be. We want people that are passionate, and that's what we've been kind of handpicking, and people that are passionate about MMA and passionate about Ohio MMA. And it's like Tim Fairbanks been doing a great job. I mean, Greg LeBolt, you talk about cleaning blood. Like Greg LeBolt is he worked for RFO for years. He's a
Yeah.
great facilitator, dude. I mean, like Greg, man, he we would be lost without him. He does he does a lot. I mean, Bob Marshall, Bob, my business partner, Bob. I mean, and my wife. We have Nikki. I mean, there's this. I mean, my daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, gets a team of friends together, and when they serve food. I mean, I do I do a lot of the social media stuff. I matched make for our grappling event we did in September. Um, Whatever needs done. I mean, I'll tear down the cage, I'll set up, I'll wipe blood up, I'll whatever needs to be done. I'm not too high on my horse not to get down and scrub a toilet. whatever
Yeah.
whatever needs to get done to be able to have a good show and put out a good product. That's what I
Yeah.
care more about. Like is putting out a good product and wanting people to come, not just come see a specific fighter. Granted, you're gonna have those guys that really people want to come watch, but I want people to be like, "Damn, BCM has a show. I want to go to the BCM show. I don't even care who's on the show." You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
so. But just you know, having just having good integrity and doing what's right by the people. Um, I know it. I know, like people think too, like, oh yeah, okay, I do have a team that I coach. I coach. I run a team. I run my gym, and then I also coach up at Strong Style. Yes, I do coach up at Strong Style, but that's not like we're all gonna have to put the guys on some show, right? Like we're at to put the guys on show. The guys still go out and fight for Cage Thunder and fight for Ohio Combat. Guys fight for other leagues. It's not like we're just having guys fight for BCM. And I've heard some people say, like, "Oh, we're trying to build Strong Style's record, blah blah blah." And a lot of times, those are guys that just got beat by Strong Style guys all the time, and that's been going back for 2 decades now. And there's always going to be people that hate on things, but like, I mean, for God's sakes, if you think we're trying to like handpick fights, I got Nick Walls fighting Alonzo Turner.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
what
want to
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like a lot, and Nick Wallace fought Mark Antonelli before that. His last fight, another stud. I mean, we're not out here handpicking fights. I'm here. We're out here trying to set people up for success. And
Yeah.
if a specific coach asks, "Hey, I'm looking for a guy, my guys 3-0. I'm looking for a 1-1 or a 2-0 or a one." We'll try to accommodate what the coach asks, or we'll try to accommodate that as much as possible. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're we're not showing favoritism
Yeah.
by any means.
So I know you trained some guys at your gym, Wolverine MMA, and then also up in the Cleveland area at Strong Style. Let's talk about some of the guys. So the fight card, I thought the fight card was pretty much done, and then you guys put out last weekend, oh hey, Nick Walsh and Alonzo Turner are fighting. I'm like, whoa, that's a
Yeah.
great fight for
He,
first of all, I know Alonzo is a tough dude, really tough wrestler.
oh, for sure.
And Nick is a guy that's going to go out and fight. I mean, I think he's got a little bit of Cody Stevens in him that pretty much anyone. He's kind of
Yeah.
fighting up a weight class. A really tough guy. And that fight, talk about that fight and Nick and his mindset going into it. Just fighting another, due to 7-1, number one ranked guy in the state,
Hmm.
and what his mindset was to take that fight last minute.
So we were working. There was a couple other names that from other really tough guys. Names were getting thrown around, and some guys had some injuries. And Nick's not a small 55 pounder. Um, he's a bigger 55 pounder, and he's fought at 70 before. And our initial fight we had was an Austin, I can't pronounce his last name. CZ. He was from Michigan. He's a tough kid, but he signed the contract, had a fight like 5 weeks before this fight, and won, but got concussed. So we were going to catch him at 60 because we were having a hard time finding 55. So Nick was already like hanging around heavier, so that's why we decided to go with the 70-pound fight. As far as like the Alonzo, they said they would take that fight, and I talked to Nick about it. A lot of people was like, Nick, we're right on the verge of Nick turning pro, and I know Nick just took that fight with Mark Antonelli. We lost a split decision, so a lot of people are looking like, hey, oh, let's grab him a couple of tune-up fight or two. But Nick's been, we don't need that progression in his career right now. And okay, so someone like, okay, maybe I do that, got him a couple tune-up fight, get 2 wins, and then what? Then turn him pro, and then we turn pro, then we get, like I want Nick tested. We need like he's already been tested with Mark, but we need to get tested and succeed,
Yeah.
and we need to get tested. And it's the best time to do it as an amateur right now. I feel this is why that's why the whole amateur ranks are at this point.
Yeah.
Like Nick goes out there and performs how I know he can, and we're gonna shock a lot of people on
And
Saturday night.
yeah, that would definitely shock a lot of people. I
Hmm.
know that Alonzo is also looking at turning pro, and he's already
Hmm.
said this is going to be his last amateur fight. But also on your roster, you've got another 1-0 fighter who might get one of the loudest ovations of the night. I
Yeah.
saw his ovation for his first fight. Is Zane Finley. You talk about a young kid who has had a couple fights fall through, and that's kind of like the question for him is like a guy 1-0 in his career, and this he's probably going to deal with this most of his career, like guys falling out. So how do you keep
Hmm.
him kind of in the mindset of just you got to prepare for a fight no matter who it is?
So it's because I mean, Zane's he's been around me for 15 years or going on 15 years. I've been training him since he's 5 years old.
Yeah, he's 19,
So
which is
yeah, he's
is crazy.
19. So,
Makes me feel
yeah,
old because I remember him
I
running
know.
around when he was a
Yeah,
little kid.
right. Yeah, I know. So just because I was trying not, I just what I do, I try to put the fire out I try to have like a put the fire out before I let him know. So I know I'm like, oh crap, this guy fell through. All right, I'm gonna try to hurry up and say, all right, get the other guy lined up before I even let him know, so I can like this happened, but I have the solution is what the goal is. And that's always the goal. And when that doesn't happen, like we had a little gap here for the last couple of days until actually today when when the commission was opened and everything got approved and the guy got his blood work and everything sent in. So we had a little bit of like those couple of days, and like you're saying, how do I keep his mind in it? Well, because Zane, this is just the next step in his goal. Zane has bigger goals than this fight, but I obviously has to get to this fight to be able to get to those next goals. And we're not just training for this fight. We're training for UFC gold down
Yeah,
the line. So you know what I mean? So he's got to be present in the moment like this and just have faith that it's going to work out. Like I knew it would work out. Um, I mean, really, I mean, Dave too. Like with 1-0 guy, I mean, Zane 1-0. We're at a good position now. Like the commission's always going to prove an 0-0 guy, or
right.
for a 1-0 guy. So like you're saying, like issues I ran into later on in the career as you start getting a little notoriety, you start getting some wins. Because a lot of people a lot of people just want to fight someone that they can beat. Like if it's like no people are like most people are like man like if it's a pick 'em of 50-50, most people don't like that at all. They
Yeah,
don't like they want to go into a fight where it's like 90% chance I'm gonna win. that's like a lot. That's a lot what I mean, that's a lot what I see. And but
Yeah.
what's that?
Another, yeah, another interesting fighter on the card that you train is Kobe Carr Pearson.
Oh yeah.
I called his debut fight, and I think he was an independent fighter, or maybe training with some friends
Correct.
and things like
Mhm.
that, and was a tough guy against. He fought Mason Butler, who has
Mhm.
a wrestling background and was
Mhm.
tough. And you look at him and you say, man, this guy gets into a gym, he's gonna be dangerous. Lo and behold, he gets into a gym and gets a first round TKO in his second fight. So now he's 1-1. Talk about his progression that you've seen. I don't know. Like, his first fight
Oh,
was a
he's
year and a half ago, and then he took a little over a year off of
uh-huh.
fighting, and I know he went back into the gym and trained. And talk about his
That was
progression from
that
fight 1 to 2.
so that was him. He came in about over a year ago. He's been a little over a year. Well, he came in and he wanted to fight like 6 weeks or like,
Yeah,
and I was like, no, 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 dude. I was like, I know you're tough and you have some skill. I was like, but that's not what it's about right now. We got to get good fundamentals because he had too many little gaps in his striking to get to the clinch. This little thing, fundamental stuff that he just got neglected, that he didn't have a set of eyes watching him and just kind of give him feedback. But the kid's real receptive to feedback, and I made him sit. Like we set like I'm like 9 months. I just made him train, and a lot of guys, like some guys will. I was some we did say he, but what helped him is I kept grappling tournaments. We kept hitting grappling, so I kept like
yeah,
feeding his competition uh, urges like that. But yeah, and because it's not just about being tough and being able to, like I wanted to be out there to go out there and be skilled. You know what I mean? A good foundation of not just being a grappler, be able to go out there and be able to strike, be able to clinch, be able to, wherever the fight might take it, he's comfortable and doesn't have any gaps. And he did, and he went out and had a great performance. Um, and he's just getting better and better. The kid's a gamer.
yeah.
The kid's a gamer.
You could see it. I mean, I've been around this sport long enough. You can see the kind of those intangibles from young guys, right? Like you call
Mm-hmm.
fighting, you're like, he may have lost, but he went up against a guy from a tough gym, a
Mm-hmm.
tough dude who was like,
Mm-hmm.
15, 10, 12 years older than him, who has a lot of experience just competing. And he hung in there for 3 rounds and lost the decision. So you have another guy on the card, a debut fighter. And I always, when I call fights, debut guys are the hardest, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they're nervous as heck. They don't want to talk to me. They're like, "Get away from me! I don't even know who you are. You're going to talk
Yeah.
to my opponent and tell them all my all my
Yeah.
strategies,"
Yeah.
which I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I always like to talk to the coach, right? Because the coach is
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, here's in fight one, usually hey, here's what your guy has," especially from the good gyms and the big gyms.
Mm-hmm.
That you know what to expect going into a fight. So tell me a little bit about John Maxey and his debut fight.
John Maxey is dude. He's he's another one. He's been training for a year. He started off just wanting to do some. Just he started off 3 days a week: Muay Thai, no gi, boxing. I kept saying you need to get in here a little bit more on grappling. Um, he was doing it to lose weight a little bit and just kind of learn a little bit because he at one point he was 300 pounds his senior year in high school. He lost all that weight. He got down to 200 pounds on his own, not necessarily the right way. He was in a caloric deficit. So he'd come here, and I was like, dude, he told me about it about a week after he was training. I was like, you had the mindset to be able to lose 100 pounds on your own like that? I was like, dude, I was like, that's impressive. I was like, to do that with no one help, like, and to do that at a young age like that, I was like, man, that's impressive. I was like, dude, if you can do that, dude, you can do anything you freaking want to. And the thing is, the kid just, he hadn't he never really had a whole lot of people believe in him. You know what I mean? And he's told me that. And I mean, I believe utmost in this kid, and he absorbs everything that I tell him. He absorbs everything that my wife talks to him about strength and conditioning as well. I mean, he comes in early, he'll stay late. He's just turned 22 years old, and I, I can tell he's found like this gives him like he's found his purpose.
Yeah, that's
He's
awesome.
found his purpose. Yeah. So no, I mean I'm so excited for his fight, man. I'm so excited for his fight, and I'm so excited for you guys to see
Yeah.
this O guy go to work.
And so you also, as we mentioned, you
Oh,
coach and train up at Strong Style as well, and
yeah.
that's I think a different mindset a lot with the gym. Like you go in there, and that's a gym where you've got, and not saying that your guys aren't eventually going to
Hmm.
get world class, but that's a gym where you get a guy like Chase Archangelo who is 2-0 and wrestled at Cleveland State and a very
Hmm.
very high level athlete, and he came into MMA I think with a lot of hype already surrounding him. So
Hmm.
what's the difference I think in training at a gym like Strong Style where you've got guys like Stipe and they produce world class elite talent to where come down to your gym and where you're trying to build up to that build up guys to the
Hmm.
next level. You've got a couple guys who have maybe a handful of fights, but then that versus going to the UFC level. What do you think that adds to like your ability as a coach just to be able to see kind of the highest level and then the level of where some of your guys are, where it's just nothing but pure potential.
Where they could go. It's like that's like it's building up my resume. You know what I mean? Like going up like being I still get to have that connection with the strong style because they're family, you know what I mean? I'm strong style for life too. I love Marcus and everyone up there. Um, but being able to go up there and work with those athletes, and my guys come up there too and spar. You know what I mean? Zane, Nick, guys have been Kobe have been up there and sparred before with the guys up there, so we're not foreign to going up there too, and that's the beauty of having the relationship. You know, like Wolverine MMA and strong style guys come down. You know, Jesse Murray comes down, Roller comes down. You know, so it's like a nice little mix. But to get up there and to be able to go out and like I was like this a couple weeks ago, I was with Jesse's LFA fight. I was with Roller when he fought Karma. Um, you know, I've got to go over with when Lexi and Jeff Hughes were over in Abu Dhabi and spend time over there. It just keeps building up my resume, and I get to help strong style continue to flourish and help and just and give back to what they to help to give back to what because they gave me so much and I try to give back to them too. It's a hand in hand thing. You know, Marcus is getting a little bit older and don't like traveling as much. So me and that Big Al Diddy and JT Miller and whoever we'll hold the fort down. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. You know,
I
strong
won't tell
style family.
I
Yeah.
won't tell Marcus you called him old.
No, I'm saying he's getting a little older. I didn't say he's getting old. Marcus is a killer. I still don't want that son of a bitch to leg kick me or he's rough. He's still rough as they come.
Yeah,
But
and so obviously a great fight card and so many young guys, but the
oh,
the desire for you, still to compete. And I know obviously you're not fighting in MMA anymore. For the people that don't know, you had a unfortunate eye injury in your last fight, and you haven't been able to compete, but in MMA. But I see you're still out there competing. You're doing some grappling. What's kind of the future for you in competing?
I'm gonna get at like so. I'm hopping on January 14th. We're having the BCM Cage Grappling Series 2 event at Fairhaven Hall in Mansfield. We'll have what it is. So I wanted to give back to the jiu-jitsu community as well, but and also give back to the MMA fighters as well. To like give them an outlet to be able to get a competition in between fights. So that's why we kind of came up with that because you don't have to pay to get on. You know, a lot of times you go to these tournaments, you got to pay $100 to get in, and then so it's an and they can white belt through black belt can hop in, and if you get a submission, you get a bonus for the submission, and it's just a nice way. And it's caged, and it's in the grappling's in the cage. So it has some carryover for the guys that are just MMA competitors, and for the jiu-jitsu guys, it kind of gives them like a nice feel to be able to get in the cage, get a competition, even though you're not no striking, but it still gives it that feel of kind of being in somewhat like kind of get an experience of what like an MMA fight could be like without the punches and kicks and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm going to hop on that January 14th. I had a knee surgery in August, like 2 days before our last show, just some medial meniscus repair. So I was healing that up. I got my daughter's going on 17 months and my other daughter's 17 going on 18. So That's been keeping me a little
I'm
occupied.
sure that does. Yeah.
And then my oldest son, he just turned 21 on November 2nd. He's out at Cal Poly, doing well out there. Sorry. So yeah, but I do have my eyes set on some no-gi worlds next year. I was thinking about trying to hit it up this year, but I'm gonna hit no-gi worlds up. I was wanting to hop on the Fight to Win when they were back up at Cleveland. Seth Daniels messaged me, and I hated telling him no, but my 17-year-old had prom that day, and I can't, my
Yeah.
family comes first before that. But no, I ain't done, man. I'm gonna hop on a lot of these cage grappling, like Ruben Vera has like down at Queen City Grappling, and then Dave Beaver's doing great things with Twisted Shirts, man. And they, I'm hop on. I'm gonna keep after it. I'm gonna keep grappling. I keep getting better at grappling. It's nice. I've been able to kind of still do a little bag work here and there, but I've been able to focus on my own, just kind of getting better at grappling. So it's
Yeah.
nice, and compared to having to try to get better at like 10 sports, I can just kind of focus on one
Better
right
than getting
now.
punched in the face, right?
Yeah, yeah, I still miss that stuff though.
But
But
I know that I haven't been to Fairhaven Hall in years, man, and it's crazy. The two places that I connect local MMA to in Ohio is Nautica, Jacobs Pavilion up in Cleveland, and
hmm
Fairhaven Hall, and those are the two where I kind of grew up and made my name, in
hmm
covering MMA, doing commentary, just being around and being around the sport, for now 13 years in the state of Ohio, and I'm like, that can't be that much. Like
crazy.
I'm counting again. Like, wait, hold on a second. But I know you're going to have a little bit of nostalgia still going into that because you headlined so many events. Just 30 seconds on that and what that feels like. Just kind of going back to where you made your name in MMA.
Yeah, it's man, it's a wave of emotions when I get in there. Sometimes like I'm so in the moment, like I might not think about it, but you know what I mean. But then like usually when the day's over, the show's over. Like last time when that show was over, we went 4-0 that day. Uh, when the last show in May, man, when I was leaving there, I just put that Nipsey on victory lap and just rolled on, just listened to it and just vibed out. And it was just like, I got to stop and smell the roses sometimes, man. I did that in my just like in my career. It's always like the next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And like sometimes I forgot to stop and smell the roses along the way. And that was like one of my friends mentioned that to me before, and he's like, "Dude, you've done amazing things. You've done things that people dream about doing." And like I was always like, well, but I didn't get to the UFC or I didn't get to this. So everyone's like, I didn't feel like I always felt like I came up a little short. You know what I mean? But I didn't, you know what I mean? I may have fell a little short of some goals like that, but like in all, man, like I got more out of this sport than most people could ever ask for. I got a platform to continue reaching more and more people, helping more and more people. And I mean, I'm just blessed to be where I'm at right now. Even with everyone asking, like, well, oh, would you still have done that if you knew you would have lost your eye that many years later? Yes, because I don't know who I would be. I don't even want to know the person I would be without martial arts and mixed martial arts in my life. It's just made me
Yeah.
a better person.
I think that you speak for so many fighters all across the globe and guys who that's why I follow local MMA as guys like you, to be honest with you, and seeing these guys come out and the way that your community supports you, and then you're now able to give back to your community. It's a great thing, and we need more of that, I think, in the world. But this Saturday, BCM Promotions Fight Night 11, my first
Fine.
BCM show. I'm pumped. Going back
Yeah.
up to Mansfield. We will have all the live coverage on mymmanews.com, all the post fight stuff, all the fun action. And make sure if you were in the area, get out there this weekend. And then cage grappling in January, you get to see Cody Stevens back in action.
Get
So thank you
after
so
it.
much, man.
Thank you, David. Appreciate you, man. Can't wait to see you on Saturday. Doors open at 5, fights start at 7. We got 18 bouts scheduled, maxed out the card.
All right. Thank you so
Hopefully
much.
everyone shows up and makes weight.
It's gonna be a fun night. Well, I'll see you on Saturday, man.
I appreciate it, David. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.